I think that while there was a lot to like about Luke Cage, one thing that came out of everybody's commentary about the show was that Marvel Netflix shows have become very formulaic to their detriment. So I'm really looking to Iron Fist to maybe break away from that. And what gives me hope, there's really no reason to think it would break away from that. I mean, people create formulas for a reason, and why would you bail on said formula with the fourth, well, actually technically fifth series in the whole movement, right, before Defenders, because Daredevil's had 2 seasons. But anyway, the teaser trailer for this that aired at Comic-Con was surprisingly artistic, right? I mean, I thought it had some really interesting shots, and it looked like they were trying to up their game cinematically, which is always encouraged, right? Like, oh, you should always up your game in any regard that you possibly can, right? So I'm very excited to see this, and just to see if it lives up to how good the Comic-Con trailer was, and also if it can maybe re-energize, I think, the Marvel Netflix shows, which again are starting to seem a little repetitive at this point. All right, I think someone's suggestion that they shouldn't be 13 episodes is a pretty good one. I think, Stranger Things made a really strong case for 8 or maybe 9 episodes being the magic number. Okay, let's take a look.
Because of who you are, there will always be forces gathering against you. Disguised as a friend, slipping past you as a stranger. They are everywhere. If you choose to continue as you are, know that you risk everything. It's time. A child touched by fire, destined to be our greatest warrior.
Wow. Break out the budget, Marvel Netflix.
You are a living weapon. Drive all other thoughts out of your mind except this.
This is my purpose.
That looks very good. I saw a lot of the coverage come out of New York Comic-Con over the weekend, late Saturday for this, and they said they're very much doing their ode to martial arts movies. Now, of course, I don't think it can be lost on anyone that it stars a white actor. And, just like I said, Nicole Kidman should be really upset that Jackie is getting so much attention, whereas Grace of Monaco was kind of thrown under the bus, although largely by Harvey Weinstein. If I were Matt Damon, I'd be like, what the hell, man? This is a white savior show, right? But for some reason, everyone's okay with it. But I can't, people can't stop criticizing. Scarlett Johansson, too, can't stop criticizing. Well, her role, I guess, to some degree, you can argue was whitewash. But it's like, especially with The Great Wall, it's like everyone's criticizing that movie. But, then why are you okay with this, right? But, you might be like, well, that's the way the original comic was told, which is the argument everybody's using. But then at the same time, I'd be like, well, The Great Wall is an original story, too. So how is it okay, right? If you can whitewash a role, why can't you change a role to have to have Danny Rand be an Asian character? I just it's conflicting to me for the that one thing is okay and one thing isn't. Now, just from a creative standpoint, it looks very pretty. I like that it doesn't look exactly. I understand there has to be a tonal consistency to the shows. They all take place in the same, universe, Manhattan. But I like that this it seems a little different. It seems a little sharper, seems a little bit, a little more inventive, I think, with some of the creative visual choices they're making. From the bubbles to the mask, during that parade event or whatever was happening, that was very cool. And also that this is the first time we're going to see somebody with, visual effects based superpowers in this universe, where everything else has just been able to be achieved through, stunt work, in-camera effects, wire work, right? Lines of dialogue. I guess when they occasionally show how Matt Murdock sees the world, that kind of is the same thing. but it's kind of not, right? I mean, they actually pay to have his fist light up. I'm sure he'll use it sparingly, not only to be responsible, but because it's expensive, right? Like, how about that? That would be fun. That's a funny way to think of it. Like, every time he uses the Iron Fist capability, it costs money, right? Like, that's expensive. You're on a budget. You can only light up so many times, right? But I'm excited to see the fight sequences. I'm excited to see this actor come into his own after, basically just being, eye candy on Game of Thrones. And let's see what everybody here is capable of. So what do you think? Are you excited about the show? And I'm gonna I'm gonna do more coverage of this, and I'm also gonna do a video on Sigourney Weaver, the announcement of her character, of her playing a villain in the Defenders, big event, either today or tomorrow. All right, thanks for watching with me, and you can check out some more coverage right now.